Welcome in Casper again. So in this tutorial we will look how we setting the node material in here. But before we get to there, I will show you a little animation I have been made in the skins. So let's jump to the timeline. As you can see, when we apply this animation like this one, okay, that is very simple loop animation I'm made using the shape key. As we can see in here, shape key, I'm using shape key, just very simple shape key and simple deformation on that object and controlling that using this pawn. But we will not talking in depth about the animation, but we will talking about the material. So let's get started. But before we get started, once more again, you need to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will create more video like this one. There we go, get started. So in this video we will look not all of the material, but probably is the beautiful material I made in the skin, that is the head monster material. So let's jump to the shader. Okay, let me adjust the preview for this one first. Okay, we doesn't need, so let's change this to the shader and this one to the image editor. As we can see right now, okay, as we can see, we got a shader editor in here, we got the image editor in here, and we got a 3D view in here. So let's hide all of the object except the head monster. So let's hide the main render, because I has been made collection that is called main render, including all the object except the Altare head monster. So the next step after this, we need on lighting. The lighting I has been made. Let me watch it. Let me show. This one is the lighting. It's not really a big lighting, but it's cause we know from the last video I has been made time lapse, and the time lapse look like I'm creating a night environment with some monster altar on there. So I will not creating more or adding more light to creating more like in the daylight. So I'm creating that in evening. So the field we looked at is give us something we in the night environment. So if you doesn't watch the time lapse, watching that, cause that is cool. So the next, let's try to render it. But before we render it, we need to turn off the show overlay right here. So cause we will focusing with the node, we just need a small view for our head material. I mean for our head 3D object. So as we can see right now, it's a beautiful material right here with a good lighting setup, I think. Okay, let's get started. So as we can see right now, it's 2K base color. If you want to working with the 4K, you can do this, but right now I'm just use a 2K. Okay, it's great. So let's watching the other what's this, the other texture. Let's watching the height map. It's subtle, but it's got some data, height data on there. So let's watching the normal. As we can see right now, it's got the normal. This is the normal map. This is a 2K resolution, right? So the last is the roughness. Yes, this one, the roughness, and we will be manipulating that using our node editor right here, or shader editor, because the name of the tab is changed in the Blender 2.8. In the Blender 2.7, this is called node editor, but in the Blender 2.8 is changed to the shader editor. Let's jump to the shader editor, and we'll be manipulating this all of the texture, including base color, height, normal, and the roughness, to creating this beautiful material. So firstly, let's be talking about what the shader I has been using here. The shader is I'm using this is just two shader, that is the Specular Shader and the Principled.psdf shader, with the input of 4 image from the image texture I has been shown to you. So the first image is the base color with the color space as RGB, and the roughness color with the color space is non-color, so we just need the data height without any sRGB color. It doesn't care the sRGB. So the next is the height, and the last is the roughness. Remember, change all the space colors to the non-color except the master base color. So let's jump and look how the base color work. So in here, as we can see, so let's watch this line first. After rewatching, the line is ended in the hue and saturation value node. So the hue and saturation value node, I'm gonna change the hue and the value to 0.5. As we can see, the original image, let's bring this hue saturation value to the back, and we comparing this one. As we can see, this one is a really light. I mean, it doesn't look great when we try to rendering using this color. So let's try and look what it look like when we just linking that to the base color of the Principled.psdf. So let's add layout rewrote. Okay, so we can grab this more flexibilities. It's fuck. Okay, let's grab to the front. Oh, I'm using this one for the specular, sorry. So let's watch the specular. So you can see it's too light and doesn't get any feel. It's a monster because it's too funny, I think. So I'm gonna add a little dark in here. Yes, it's dark. We can get the compared result. It's give the dark result is give us more. I think it's a monster. So let's delete this one and bring the hue saturation value to the front again. Okay, next step is following this line. This line is ended in the darken node mix color. So from the darken node mix color, we have the second input of the darken node mix color. We have the color RAM input from the Roughness texture map. So I has been changed a little bit. I'm sorry, this is a normal map. So I'm crazy, so I'm using the normal map and change this one to the black and white using a color RAM, and input this one to the darken mix color. So after this, you can watching this, it's a great darken. So let's comparing this one with the original image. Let's bring this to back like the before. When we watching this with this one, after we add the normal map and color RAM edited, we will cut a shadow and the depth value to our base color. Okay, after this darken mix color, I'm using this one to my base color in Principled.psdf. So right now we will just look at the color, not the else, because we're still talking about the color map. Okay, so this will look great. Add some converted normal map to the base color. It's great because we will be manipulating this one. Okay, the next is this, the third line of the base color is the hue saturation value once more again, and I think we using this one for creating color of our subsurface color. This is quite simple. I'm just change the value of hue saturation value node in here. I'm just change that is to the hue from 1 to 0.5 and the value from 1 to 1.4. yes, the 1.4. so the all of the line has been explained in the base color texture. So the next step is the roughness. I think as we can see, the base color is just got a 3 line and the roughness is got 5 line. It's probably long explanation for the roughness. So let's talking the first line in here. The first line is the color ramp. I'm gonna change the value right now and make it more darker, because the originally this is not look subtle, and after change it to the color ramp it's more darker right now. And I'm using this color for a factor and the second color input of this mix shader. And let's talking this color ramp. This color ramp is from the height, I think. Yes, the height, and the height is look like this one, a little dot for creating our texture more great, our palm map, I think. And as we can see, we got the dot black and white color in the all of the surface, and the black dot is a little gone in the white value in here. As we can see, the originally is really dark, and after we mix this in here is turned subtle. When we zoom out, we can see it's more clearly. So I'm use this mix color using mix operation to where's that, to use to in this mix shader factor. So because we mix these two shader, that is shader, specular shader and the principal BSDF shader, we use a factor, so that will be made our character will be got a white. Let's watching this out first. We will got the white, more white value will be got the specular shader, and the more dark value will be called the principal BSDF shader, because we use this in the make shader factor. Okay, so let's jump back to the second line of the roughness. So after road, we got in here the add mix color. So from the add mix color, the second input is got from the roughness texture map, and the first input is got from the Fresnel. Yes, from the Fresnel node. After, let's watch the Fresnel originally like this one, and I'm changed this one to the with the color ramp and turn this more lighting. Oh, I think it's turned more darker, and mixing this one using, oh no, it's over in here, and it's bring the first input of the add mix color. And yes, from the add mix color we use this one to our specularity. So let's watching this one. So let's watch without the specularity and with the specularity. So this one is without specularity, it's bad. With more specularity we will got more white. With less specularity we doesn't get any white. So when we use this map after we editing with Fresnel with the add operation in here, we will got the specularity in the line out of the object right now, this, and we has been mixing this out. I mean, where is mixing this out with add operation. so we will get great specularity in the principle.pstf, because the outer line of the object will be got some weight value that is give us a feel. This is a weight monster. So that is, so the next line of the roughness is jump to this color ramp. It's probably really subtle. I don't know what's this one, so I think it's wrong probably. Oh no, it's just sign out a real subtle to using one for the mix. Yes. Okay, this is just for mixing from this color ramp, and the color ramp, this is out from the another input of the roughness too. Okay, and using this one to, okay, where is roughness input of the principle.pstf shader. Okay, this is used from the roughness input of principle.pstf shader from the roughness texture map. So the next is we will be watch the last line of the roughness texture map is include to the color ramp. So we creating this color are really subtle like this one, so I think it will be used for max, yes, for a factor, in other words. So let me explanation this ones. So in here I'm creating a little procedural texture using this noise texture. So I will add a noise texture to my object. So as we can see, I'm changing the noise texture right here with the color ramp and change it to a really subtle gray and white, and include this one to the second input of the mix color with the mix operation in here, and use vector from the roughness texture map. So what this mean is the white value will be got the second input of the mix color, and the black value will be got the first input of the mix color. So I has changed the color one input to the gray, whitish gray I think, and include the second color with the noise texture has been edited using color ramp. So let me watch. As we expected, the white value will be got the second input, and the black value will be got the first input. So as we can see, the white is this one, got the noise, and the black is got the whitish gray. And I'm using these ones for a roughness. Oh no, I'm using this one to mixing once more again with this, and this one is from the roughness texture map too. So I'm change this one to give us more like a Fresnel, but really subtle, and give us more a noise, because the Fresnel is really smooth, and we need this one as you can see, to mixing out with the noise from the mix before. Okay, let's bring this front, and I'm using this one, the final mix, to the roughness of the specular shader. Let's watching this once more again. So the specular, let's we watch before we add this map to the specular shader. So let's grab with 1 and 0 value. More 0 you give, the more wet it's look like. The more 1 you give, the more its tray look like. So we can controlling 1 and 0, not just that's a 2 boolean true and false. We can create a half with the mixed color. So I mean, when we give this roughness just 1 and 0 input, the value is same like this one. So let's add color gamma, and insert the output to the roughness input. So the color is just white and black, 1 is mean white and 0 is mean black. When we're using the texture, as we can see right here, is where we got our little gray, in another word we got a white, in another section of this monster we got a little dark. So the value of the roughness will be customized like these marks, not just use the one color. Okay, remember. Okay, the next step is, because we has been done with the outline of the roughness, we need to jump to the height. The height is just got a 2 line in here. It's probably a little short explanation. So right here, so the height is really subtle. If we just look like this one, it just look like a gray color, but after we change it a little bit using the color ramp, we got a dot black gray in here, and I'm using this one with this, as explained it before, mix color. Okay, and let's watching this again, and this is used for our mix shader in here. Okay, and after our mix shader, let's jump to the next line of the height texture map. The height texture map, I'm using this for the bump node in here. So as we can see, the first input of the bump node, I'm use the texture of the height texture map, and the second I'm using this normal map. Okay, and after the bump node, I'm using this one to tip placement. After the tip placement, we can insert this one to the tip placement material output. So we will pick out the tip placement of our material in the monster head. So the next is the Lattice Texture Map, that is the normal map. The normal map, the first thing you need to know, when we first importing this image, the normal map color space is originally changed to the sRGB, but we need to change this to the non-color data, because we doesn't need the color data, but we just need to the height data of this normal map, because as we know before, the height data is like the roughness. The white mean 1 and the black mean 0. So when we look through this one, normal map is just used individual channel like red, green or blue. Let's separate this sRGB. When we watching this one, this look like this one, the normal map, and when we look through the individual channel of red channel, look like this one, and the green channel this one, and the blue look like this one. After we insert the normal map, we got the normal map like this one, is exactly what we expected. So as we can see, the value is just got red, I mean in here, this is a red, a subtle down to the pink and the blue in here, so as we can see, and the green. Let's watch the green. Yeah, okay, so let's watch the line of the normal map. The color output of the texture of normal map is inserting to the normal map node that I'm used for each of individual normal input of the every specular and principled BSDF shader. And I'm use once more this for our palm. Remember, I has been explained this before, right? Okay, and the extra one, I'm crazy, and I'm using this one from a Fresnel input. So what is different with if we doesn't give this normal to our Fresnel input? So let's look. As we know, we has been inserting this displacement map, so the Fresnel will be turn the normal force to the like of the displacement map, but I need to use my normal map. So the easy thing we can do is just insert the normal map to the normal input of the Fresnel node, and we will be got like this one. Cause when we just let the normal input of the Fresnel empty, will be cut like this one, and it's exactly is too pumpy for this case. So I'm just use the normal map output for the Fresnel normal input. Okay, so that is the outline from this one, and I think the last line of the normal map. So this is first is color ramp. I'm change this to the from this RGB. I'm changing it to the black and white, and I has done explaining this before and mixing this out using this darken mix shader. I mean darken mix color, and using this one for a base color in the principled BSDF. So that's all, and the last is this two, and I think this two has been explaining too before. And the last step is let's watch the beautiful final material. As we can see in here, I'm add a little light instead of that. So that is what I'm give you. Little I give you. Hope you guys can learn something. Show your love, show your appreciation. Subscribe this channel, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Hope you guys can learn something. Goodbye.